Route reflector. Route reflector. What is route reflector? See, the English term reflection. Reflection is when we have a mirror. Reflection is proxying. You can say that proxying. See, let's say there is a beam of light falling inside my room. And when I see, I don't see the, I don't see a, I don't see the sky. I don't see the sky anywhere through my window or through my roof, but I see a light beam of light coming through some holes. When I see through the hole, I don't see a sky. How is that possible? Because there is a mirror which is straight to the angle of light, beam of light from the sun. The beam of light is not falling on my wall, it is falling on the mirror. And the mirror reflects that light inside my room on my wall. Is the mirror the source of that beam of light? No. It is the sun. But according to my wall, it looks like a mirror is the source of the light, which is not possible. Mirror cannot be a source of light. But if you remove the mirror, I don't get light. When there is a mirror, I have light. But I cannot I can't claim the mirror as the source of light. It's just a light reflector. Likewise, when routes come from another autonomous system, the route is learned in this provider edge router, and this advertises the route to this provider only router, P1, and this P1 will not give route to PE2. We all know this. A route learned from one IBGP should not be given to another IBGP. Route learned from one IBGP should not be given to another IBGP. Here, for example, if 1111 is coming, it will be seen here. It will be seen here because you put next up self here. It will be even seen as the best, valid and best route, but P1 won't advertise that valid and best route to PE2. That's to avoid duplication, loop, all the stuff. We have that rule, IBGP split horizon rule. To overcome this, we used to say full mesh. We used to configure full mesh, but it is not good because the CPU utilization, bandwidth utilization will all go higher as you have more IBGP neighbors. That will reduce the efficiency of your network. Full mesh is not good. If you have 100 neighbors, IBGP neighbors, you need to maintain 100 IBGP sessions by sending 100 keep alives every 60 seconds, which is not good. So what we can do, one you saw earlier, confederation, creating sub-autonomous systems so that they will feel like an EBGP instead of IBGP. This is another solution, route reflector. When you mix confederation and route reflector, you need to have too many sub-autonomous systems inside the main autonomous system in confederation. But confederation is not at all in use, it's not at all a solution. The reason is in MPLS we have tunnels. So confederation is ruined out, but route reflector is still there. Even through the tunnel, you may have more than one hop. There you may use route reflector. So more than confederation, route reflector is seen into production. What this P1 is going to do, as I said, it will start acting as a mirror, reflecting all that is coming from P1 to P2. So which is the original source? It is P1. Who is reflecting it? P1. When you enable route reflector, your P1 router acts as a mirror. If no route reflector, it is just a opaque, it's just a wooden wall. When you enable route reflector, it gets that mercury on it so that it can start reflecting the route to PE2. Fine. How does this work? We go to PE1 and say PE2 neighbor PE2's address, route reflector client. That's it. You see, let's say the IP address of this neighbor is 192.168.0.2. So you go to this P1 router and say router 10 BGP neighbor 192.168.0.2 route reflector. This is it. Just if you put this command, P1 becomes a mirror for PE2. Now, why did I use the word mirror? Now, if let's say there is another autonomous system router here, advertising 2.2.2. When this 2.2.2.2 comes, that will be learned here. Usually 2222 will not be reflected to PE1, will not be reflected to PE1, but now, because you have kept a mirror, 2222 will come here. Listen, listen, listen. You have not configured PE1 as the route reflector client, even though it comes. Because it's a mirror. If beam from here reflects here, if there is a beam here, that will also get reflected here. Mirror is two-way. Yeah. When this is the sun, the beam comes here. In the evening, if this is the sun and this is the wall, the beam comes here. Same mirror. Because you have kept a mirror, whatever goes here will be given here. Likewise, whatever is given by this guy coming here will also be reflected to PE1, though PE1 is not a client. How do you call PE1? PE1 is the passive client for P1. P1 is a non-client, passive client. Who is the active client? PE2 is the active client. P2 is the P2 is the active client. P1 is the passive client. Now, wherever P1, you put non-reflector client and read the statement. Route learned from non-route reflector client is advertised to route reflector client, but not to another route reflector client. Let's say another router, non-router. Let's say you have another router here, P3. You did not keep mirror. You see, you did not keep mirror for P3. Mirror is only kept for P2. So, need to listen very, very carefully. Simple. This is the best way to explain route reflector mirror. According to me, no one on earth so far explained with the example mirror. I can guarantee that. I'm the first one. Now, because you kept the mirror focusing PE2, whatever this P1 is giving and whatever this P3 is giving, it will go to PE2. No doubt. But whatever the P2, okay, now I need to explain this point, I have to do different scenario. Now this is P1. Whatever this guy gives, it goes to client, not to P3. P3 is another non-route reflector client. Mirror is not kept in P3's direction. It is only kept in P2's direction. So route given by P1 will go to P2. And route learned from an client will be advertised to another client if you have. We don't have another client. And also to non-route reflector client. Very important. So let me make it very simple for you by teaching in a different angle. Same thing. Let's start from the first point. Or let's start from the second point. That is the best way. Second point first. Route is coming from a client, which is 22222. Is advertised to both route reflector client. I don't have another client. Assume you have another client. It will go there also. And also to non-route reflector client. So it will come here, also here. Because these two are non-route reflector clients. They are passive clients. Now going to the first point. This 1.1.1.1, which is advertised by PE1, will be only going to this one, not to PE3. It won't go to PE3, it will go only to PE2. It is advertised to only the client, not to another passive. Though it is coming from passive client, it won't be given to another passive, it will be given only to the active client. Did you understand these 2 points? Now, let's read the second line of the second point. Even the route reflector client that advertises the route will receive a copy and discard it because it sees itself as originator. Okay, that is in case if the client which is advertising it, when it is receiving it from someone via the other way, it will discard. That is to prevent loop. So the first line of router 2 point 2 is important. The second point is just to prevent loop. It is taken care automatic. When it finds its own ID as an originator, it will stop taking it inside. Now, first 2 point is clear. Now let's move on to the third point. Now, route learned from an EBGP neighbor. Let's say I have here an EBGP neighbor, another autonomous system, advertising 3.3.3. Route learned from an EBGP neighbor. It is advertised to both client as well as non-client. This is normal. One hop it will automatically go, no? Now, if you know these 3 things, you know route reflector very well. This will be confusing for someone who don't do this and check it. Now you may feel clear, but when it is a kind of examination, you will always have confusion in this topic. In CCI exams, they used to check this. What some people will do, they will put client in both the direction. Neighbor 192.168.1.1, let's say this is 1.1. For that also they will say router reflector client, which is not necessary. Even without saying this, 222 will come here. They want to know that you know it. They want to know that you know it. They want to know that route reflected from the client is advertised to non-client also. They want to check. When you configure this statement, second statement, you're making it as a client, which is not really needed. Route learned from a client is also advertised to a non-client. To test this in CCA exams, they keep scenario. If you put both the line, no mark. If you put only one line, you have full mark. Right. Now let us go do this and see.